Yo, what up, vendors? Welcome back to the vendor booth. Welcome me back to the vendor booth. Man, I gotta let y'all know, I got sick at the end of the year, right before Thanksgiving, which carried through all the way through December into the new year. Then I recovered, but then I got sick again. By the grace of God, I'm good. Thank you, Lord. I'm here, and we back in the booth. And this is the kickoff to the 2024 vendor season. Now, in this episode, we're going to cover a little bit of everything: show preparation, inventory, merchandise, stocking up, transportation, displays, all that good stuff. So there's a little something for you if you're a seasoned vet, and if you're a first-time vendor, I got a ton of information in this one episode. So let's get it. Let's start off with show selection. Now, when you pick a show to be a vendor at, there's a lot of factors that you have to consider. I'm gonna give you a few just off the top of my head, all right? Number one is like target audience. What you wanna be doing is picking an event that will attract your customer or your client. Number two, the relevance. Some shows have themes. Does that theme tie into your business or what you sell? Number three, foot traffic. Again, that has to do with, in a way, with your target audience, right? You want to know how many people are expected at the show, or, like I said, if your particular audience is going to be there, if there's a reason for them to be there. Location. Is the show local or is it out of state? How much time do you need to travel to and from with your merchandise? You got to know that. The last one I'll talk about is the event reputation. Is it a first-time show or is it an ongoing show? If it's an ongoing show, if they have a history, you want to know whether or not the event is good, right? And there are several ways to figure out whether or not the event is good. The quickest way to find out if it's a good event is to go online, see what the event is about, research, see if they have social media. Once you're on social media, when you're looking through the comments, you will see that there's vendors that attended the show or participated in the show, and you can reach out to them to get more information about the show. So those are some of the factors to consider when selecting the show that you're going to be a vendor at. Now, let's jump into show preparation. Show prep is big for me because it's the one thing that you can control that will actually help you be successful at any show. And that's even if you sell something or not. The prep work has to be done in order to secure a successful show season. My number one tool is the checklist. You have to have a checklist because that checklist is your guide or your cheat sheet. It's like a cheat code for the entire season. Now let's talk about merch. Now, first-time vendors, one of the most common questions amongst them is, how much merch should I bring to a show? Now, some people bring a lot of merch, some people bring a little bit, and then there's those that go to the extreme and bring everything they got, right? That's a natural inclination or natural thought process to bring everything to the show, especially being that it's your first time, you don't know no better, so you say, F it, I'm gonna bring everything. That's a bad call because you cannot possibly display it all in your booth. Okay, that's number one. Number two, it is going to be hell trying to transport it all. Can it all fit in your vehicle? Or because you're trying to bring it all, do you have to take on an added expense of renting a van or a truck. So those are some things to consider. Now, the way I do it, which is extremely simple for me and which is my ideology, basically I say to myself, how much money do I want to make or earn? So I'll give you an example. Let's just say I got a 2-day show coming up. I decide I want to make $1,000. That's the number that I pick. That's the number I lock into. And I don't really care about anything else. I'm not worried about if I sell more or less. My number is $1,000. I'm locked in. So when I get my merch, right? When I grab my merch up, I already know I'm selling this cup for $20. So I need 50 of them to sell to make my $1,000. So that's what I do. I get my 50. I got my 50 locked in. So I got my $1,000 just sitting there, and now I gotta sell it. Okay? Now the thing that I do extra is bring a little bit extra. So I might bring an additional $500 worth of merch with me, just in case I happen to get on a winning streak, or I happen to have a hot seller that's moving pretty rapid, so that my booth doesn't look empty. Now, another thing that I do is, in the event that I do have a great day and I sell, let's say, half of my or 3/4 of what I brought, right? So out of the 50, let's just say I sell 30 cups, right? What I do is I have another 30 waiting at home, just in case. Now, that 30 may not be the exact same item as this. It could be a different item. It could be a different type of glass. But I have a reserve stockpile that I can bring just in case this glass does what it needs to do. All right? So that way, I'm not stuck with a ton of overstock. I'm not carrying a whole bunch of merchandise with me that I can't manage, which is where you want to be at. Since we're talking about merch and sales, let me put you on to something that I do with all of my shows. All right? I do a pre-sale and I do a after show sale. Okay? What that is for me is I have a core group of people that I contact whenever I'm doing a show, and I show them the merchandise that I'm taking to the show. Now, some of them, when they see it, decide that they want to pre-order or order out of the batch before I even get to the show. Like, I've had items that didn't even make it to the show because someone purchased it or all of them before I even got to the show. Okay? So it's a way to get sales before the show. And then I have people in the same group that say, when the show is over, show me what you have left, and I'm going to pick up whatever pieces I want. So I get sales prior to the show, and I get sales after the show. Speaking about overhead and overstock, that leads us right into our next section, which is storage. Now, what you want to be mindful of is, do you have sufficient storage space for anything that you are carrying, for all your merchandise? Not just the pieces that's going to the show, but everything. Do you have a storage facility, or do you have a specific spot in your home where you can store and manage all of your merchandise? Now, you want to be able to store your merchandise to where none of it gets damaged or it doesn't lose its value. Now, me, I sell glasses, right? Glasses, they do not break unless you hit something on them or you hit them with something. But when you store them, they don't break, they don't deteriorate. The only thing that happens with them is they get fingerprints and they get a little dusty or dirty, which is a quick cleanup. Okay? Now, if you're selling t-shirts, which I do also sell t-shirts and hats, right? Those, if you don't sell them all at once, they start to lose their value because the material starts to break down over time. So you have to be aware when you are selling merchandise like hats and t-shirts that you don't hold on to them for too long, especially white, because white tends to discolor with time, especially when it's in storage. Let's talk about inventory or tracking inventory at the show. So when you make a sale, you want to be aware or have a pen, a pad, a notebook, and just jot down the item that you sold and put the amount that you sold. Okay? This is the easiest way for you to track what sells. Now, you could try and use an application, app on your phone, or if you already have some sort of inventory manager, which is set up through your website or what have you, you can do that as well. But one of the easiest ways to track is with a good old pen and pad. All right, we covered a bunch of areas already, but now we are going to jump into the star of the show, which is your booth and the display. Okay? Now, what are you doing with your booth? Are you just going to have a flat table with stuff piled on? Or are you going to present your merchandise in the best light possible? You could spend a whole bunch of money, or you could be very creative and do it with odds and ends. How are you going to set up this display? What are you doing? Do you even know? Do you have a clue? You don't know where to start? Let me put you on to something. What you could do is you could go on Google and type in vendor booth display ideas. Okay? What's going to pop up for you is a bunch of images of people's booths. And you could pick and choose little pieces from ones that you like, or pieces or parts that you like of this booth and that booth, and combine them into your display. Do you want to get super creative, right, and do DIY like I do? Or do you want to spend a lot of money and build yourself a big structure of a booth? It's totally up to you. The choice is totally yours. However, the main thing that you want to do is create something or display that is very inviting, that shows off the merchandise in the best light. You can feature specific items by putting them on pedestals. You can also run with a theme. You can pick a specific theme for this specific show that you're doing. The choice is totally up to you, but by all means, explore your creativity and have fun with it. Have a lot of fun with it, because that's going to allow your inner self or yourself to shine once you get in front of those potential customers. Now, I spoke about transportation earlier, but let's revisit. How are you getting your merch to the show? How far is the show from your home or wherever you're traveling from your business? Do you need to rent a bigger vehicle because your vehicle is too small to hold whatever you're bringing? These are the things that you have to worry about with transportation. Also, you have to be very aware of how you are setting up the merch or storing the merch inside the vehicle, because you don't want to have a mishap like I did, where I lost a box of glasses which was roughly $500 worth of merchandise. You want to make sure that you secure your merchandise and you secure your displays, your tables, or whatever it is, so that nothing gets broken while in transit. I hope you found this episode to be helpful, and I hope it will assist you on your vendor journey in 2024. If you still need any help, you can reach out to me on Instagram, like I said, at I'm a vendor. Shoot me a DM and we could chop it up. If you haven't done so already, subscribe, like, comment, do all that good stuff. If you want to learn some more, or you're a first timer and need a lot more help, you can grab the book, So You Want to Be a Vendor, which is on my website, imavendor.com. I'll link everything, obviously. And that's it. So that's what I got. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.